This is just creepy. Lauren Benton. She figured something was not quite right. She was on a flight with her family. She knew something was wrong the minute she left the screening at the TSA. She was headed to the gate to her flight. She and her husband, Nathan, and their two chillins, aged 9 and 6, they were going back to Atlanta on Delta Airlines from Washington Dulles.
Okay.
Back on August 2nd. Denton, Lauren, she said that a man who was near her family at the checkpoint at TSA started following them to the gate. And at one point, she said the man even went into the women's restroom while Benton was in there with her daughter. This is a creepy story.
Ooh.
I'm Keith Morrison.
The story of the airport.
When we continue on Dateline. Anyway, she says the guy follows them into the ladies' room at the airport while she was in there with her daughter. She says, my heart sunk down into my stomach. Benton told USA Today. With our children, we were trying to create a perception that they were safe at all times. Benton said the man then continued to follow them even when her family got on the plane during the early boarding for, families, children, extra time, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, my God.
And the guy sat down in their row.
That's crazy. Who is this guy?
At that point, she knew that she needed to say something as her kids became more anxious. She calls the flight attendant over and discreetly says, hey, there's something going on here with this guy. Ultimately, the man was escorted off the plane. He did not have a boarding pass for the flight that he climbed on following this family.
He just walked past the gate agent?
How the hell does that happen? He apparently boarded with them, clung to them. This is weird. And then sits down in their row. He had a boarding pass valid for a different flight later in the day. What the hell?
Was he mentally disturbed?
He was not ticketed for that Delta flight. So they evacuated the whole plane. A security sweep was conducted. Flight was delayed. The whole process delayed the flight about 2 additional hours. Yeah, the TSA in Washington, which operates the Dulles airport security, acknowledged the incident. TSA told Benton it was investigating the incident, but in a statement to USA Today said there was no lapses at the checkpoint since the man had a valid boarding pass and ID. I agree with that.
The lapse was at the gate agent when he walked onto the wrong flight.
Why did the Delta agent allow this guy to get on without a boarding pass? Or if you have a boarding pass, or if you've got the mobile boarding pass on your app and you try to scan it at the gate and it's the wrong flight, it doesn't turn green. It turns red. It'll tell you. So how did the Delta gate? You got to pay attention to this stuff. Ooh, I think the Delta gate agent is in a little bit of trouble when we continue on Dateline.
MJ, you need to stop it with that voice.
Okay, Roxanne, I'll stop it.
I'm trying to turn my ears off. I can't listen to that voice anymore.
Morrison voice. Matthew Perry's stepfather.
I snuck on a plane one time, not intentionally.
Were you a stowaway in a wheel well?
Yep.
From Colombia?
I told you when I was in Houston, traveling to Phoenix and then traveling to California.
Yes.
And when I was in Phoenix, I had to get on a little tiny plane.
Roxanne was in Phoenix, and she had to get on a tiny plane.
Oh, this is the story.
It is.
Of Roxanne.
It really was fearful.
And the midget plane.
Roxanne didn't like midget planes.
Right. This voice is going to make me go crazy.
Good.
Hold on a sec, Roxanne. We have a Delta gate agent on hold.
Okay.
Hang on a minute. Chris is a Delta gate agent. Chris, welcome to the MJ Morning Show.
Hey, so I am a seasonal Delta gate agent at LaGuardia.
Yep.
And sometimes it's easy for a passenger or a person to board the flight because if they're understaffed. There's just generally not enough. And then there's only one gate agent. They're responsible for security, ticket changes, scanning the tickets, making sure that that more than 2 bags are not going on the airplane. So and then also just general security that people are not walking past.
All right, Chris, have you ever had a passenger get by you as a Delta gate agent that was not supposed to be on the flight?
Not me, but I've had colleagues that has happened to, because again, if you were by yourself and it is a flight of 125 people going to Orlando,
yep,
you're responsible for scanning their tickets, making sure they don't have more than 3 bags.
Yeah.
Also making sure that the TSA
more than 2 bags.
More than 2 bags.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yep.
And make sure
I ought to be the Delta gate agent over here.
Yeah, I mean, you're really a terrible seasonal gate agent,
I know.
Chris. I'm just saying. You got the whole bag count wrong.
Leave Chris alone. All right, Chris, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Making sure the TSA is not running a test on you, because sometimes they send a unmarked agent to just breeze through the gate just to see if you're paying attention.
Oh, wow.
And then sometimes tickets are, because the way the system is set up, that you can have 2 flights up at once. So you can have one up for like Milwaukee, and you can have one up for Tampa. And then so if you have the Milwaukee screen up, all of a sudden the gator changes over. So if somebody has a Milwaukee ticket and you mean to go to Tampa, they can scan the Milwaukee ticket and it would scan as if like just a normal boarding pass. And then all of a sudden now they're going to Tampa, and that's happened before.
Chris,
and people have gone to like.
thanks for the call. I appreciate the insight.
Thank you.
Have a good one, Chris. I appreciate it.
That'd be a good holidays job for you.
What?
Seasonal gate agent, MJ.
Chris is a regular listener to the show. I think he's up in New York, so I think he streams us every single morning. No, I like when he calls in. He usually has really good information for us. But, there's an investigation. But how creepy is that this guy, attached himself to this family from just after the TSA checkpoint to all the way to get into their row on the airplane when he shouldn't have gotten by the gate agent? Man, you got to just keep aware of your surroundings. And they knew that something was up with this guy. And the mother had the foresight to, let the flight attendant know, evacuated the plane. And, that's when they discovered that this guy was nuts.